How you enjoy that journey is important. Part of Percepta has contact centres. In fact, we started as kind of call centres. I wouldn't really say that's what we do any longer. But there was one thing, we ended up with Glasgow University coming to see why we had such low attrition and low levels of sickness. Because people liked their job. And it wasn't hard science, they just liked doing it. Why? Because we decided from day one, if you're going to take a complaint from a customer, best to see it right through. So you're no longer a call manager, you're a case manager. And you will see that case through to the end. And some of the things we had to do, I'll come on to later, but it's quite a journey. Celebrate. It can be a chocolate medal. And actually, you saw the face of Fiona with a chocolate medal 3.5 years ago. Whenever that happened, she still loves that story and still tells the story. It is important. It is important to celebrate with people and say this is a job well done. And often, they're not looking for the big pay rise out of it. They're looking for recognition. And whether you've got any money or not, you can give out recognition. People want to do a good job. And if you're transformational leaders, you need to be evangelists rather than tacticians. The people that go, oh, we've got a problem, let's have 5 years of planning to work out how we can do it, are not going to be around for long. Toyota's a good example. I talked about that someone just did earlier. Toyota's a great example in that. Toyota were the best and are the best at engineering and continuous improvement and all these things. And the Japanese way was pretty smart. Everybody was trying to do what Lexus and Toyota do. And then recently, it started to crumble, as you know. And complaints started coming in, quality started going down. And suddenly the 25-year Japanese planning, which if you did your MBA, that's the only thing people talked about back then. You know, 25 years, we're always just looking at a year. The world's too fast for 25-year planning now. And the Japanese are only just realising that. Who would have ever thought? Be passionate, really care about the people. It isn't about saying, you know, I keep hearing this thing. People are our most important asset. Right, how much profit did we make? Right, okay, well that's telling me that a lot. And we're in a bizarre position, because I can really say that, because part of our business model is to borrow and steal everybody else's systems and premises. So we go in, we're not an outsourcer, we're an insourcer. We go in and help you. Why? Because that's what the decision makers are, and that's where we need to be quite honest. But it's a very cheap way of running a business, because then your overhead is just your people. So you can invest more in people. And I think that's a great model, but it wouldn't work in the public sector. Not. I met a woman 2 weeks ago from the National Theatre. Right? That's their model. They don't have a theatre. And they're known all over the world for being really creative. And they've been, if you've seen some of their stuff, I'm sure it'll grow in you. But actually, at least they're being innovative and really pushing out there because they can afford to. That's how innovation happens, thinking differently. They didn't want to say, this is the National Theatre of Scotland, isn't it lovely? It's empty most of the time, but it's lovely and it's, you know, costing us a fortune. They did it differently. Just think if our Parliament had done that. Just think how rich we would be if they said, actually, Parliament's going to be in Percepta's boardroom next week. Okay, that's fine. Honestly, that's the way you've got to think, and that's how that model works. That's how you've got to think differently. It's got to be that big. You see, a lot of leaders get stuck in status.